everybody, welcome to the first inaugural vlog. I guess first and inaugural is redundant. The inaugural vlog for Sifting for Soul. Current working title might be changed to Soul Selfie, although it's noteworthy that one of those domain names has been registered, the other, this guy got it. So, why on earth am I vlogging? Why should you be watching it? Why yet another voice? Am I gonna like open boxes in a really crazy way and be obnoxious? Probably not on the boxes, perhaps on the obnoxious. I'm not always super aware of how my behavior is perceived because that's hard. But why am I doing this? So like, why should you care? I don't have a good answer for you there. Like, I can't tell you what to care about. But if you care about some of the things I care about, then you'll probably care about this. So one of the things I care about is how hard it is to be a human out loud. I asked an influential member of my current employer. I ran into this person randomly, and another person was scared to talk to them, and they wanted to know what ethnicity they were. And I said, "Excuse me," insert influential person's name. "Can I ask you what ethnicity you are?" And then he looked at me and seemed a little bit annoyed and said, "Human." In turn, I got a little bit annoyed because that wasn't the nature of the question I was asking, and he knew that. But then I thought about it, and I really liked his answer. He was right. Figuring out what category he could be subdivided in wasn't an important feature for him. And it wasn't really an important feature for me either. It really isn't important. It can be useful to some people. That's how they define themselves. But there's lots of ways to be defined. And part of that is the objective of this vlog. It's to figure out how I'm defining and redefining myself. Because once upon a time, I fit into a little box that somebody made for me, or perhaps I made for myself, and just got inside it, and it seemed like the best way to think of myself. And that box became a form of a prison, and nobody else could get in, and I couldn't seem to find my way out. Well, eventually I did, obviously, because I'm here. But you get the idea. So one of the objectives is to try to figure out how to be human out loud. The other reason, I've listed out 4 of them. So not simply because I'm scatterbrained, but because it has taken me a really long time to do this. This requires some vulnerability, being available. It requires me sitting on this side of the camera. I don't know if you know this yet, but I'm often on this side. I do that. And so turning it around is pretty scary because you can't hide for very long. Eventually you forget that the camera's there and you just become yourself, whatever you are. And so part of the objective is to be human and to be different, and for that to be okay. Because it has to be okay. Because I'm a little bit different. I've got weird scars on my arms. I talk funny. I don't really live anywhere. I'm a difficult person to try to be in a relationship with. Story for another day. But the point is, I'm different, and that has to be okay because there's no other me I can be. So I got to figure out how to be okay as me. I'm going to evolve, and I'm going to continue to grow into better versions of myself, but I'm always going to be myself, and that's got to be fine. So I told you there were 4 reasons, and we started with because it's hard to be a human out loud. And this is actually 2 in sign language, so I should stop doing that. Because it's hard to be a human out loud, because I'm different, and I have to figure out how to be okay with that because I'm the only me I can be. The third one is because my soul needs to see itself. this is a useful way to express the notion I'm going after here. You should know that I don't actually believe in a soul. Like, I don't believe that there's this little essence of me contained somewhere in a cell. That's not really important. The important part is there is this part of me that feels like it's internal. These thoughts and feelings and pain and sadness and happiness and confusion and love and anger. There's all of these things that feel like they're inside me, and I need a healthy way to see them expressed. Because if they don't come out in a healthy way, you can be certain they're going to come out in an unhealthy way. And let's just say the state-appointed psychiatrist has encouraged me not to do that anymore. We're still getting to know each other, and jokes can be... I had a professor, one of my favorite professors in undergrad, shout out to Stephen Goldsberry, would say, if you can be misread, you will be. So with regard to my state-appointed psychiatrist joke, I want to just say we're getting to know each other, and my sense of humor isn't for everyone. So yes, of course I'm joking. Everyone knows that, like, I don't listen to the state-appointed psychiatrist. If I'm not going to let him out of my basement, I'm certainly not going to take his advice on how to handle expressing emotion. Come on, like, just learn to recognize a joke, all right? All right, sorry, the train went off the tracks, but with some chanting, we can get it back on. Okay, so why am I vlogging? That's what we're talking. We're talking about why am I vlogging? Why am I talking about the state-appointed psychiatrist again? Sorry. Okay, so because it's hard to be human out loud, because I'm different and that's okay. And then the reason I just gave you is because my soul needs to see itself. I need to see these things that are inside of me, these feelings, these emotions, the chaos. I need to see it expressed in some way with which I identify. Because I'm different, I don't see a lot of things out there that represent me. I search for content with which I can identify, and I just don't see much of it. It's just obnoxious people opening boxes and things like that. And that's not, I don't get that many packages. I'm not upset about that because I don't like dealing with cardboard and recycling and stuff. But, like, I will because it's responsible. But that's beside the point. Like, that's not that important to me is my point. And the fourth reason is because I'm free and I struggle with the responsibility of that freedom and what to do with it. I spent so long trying to get financially free and socially free and free to be me. And now that I am, I feel like I have a responsibility to help other people and encourage other people figure out how to do that. And to be honest, that I don't always know how to be free the right way, how to be healthy and how to be balanced and how to make sure that I'm more compassionate than concerned about my bank account. So it takes work, and I get it wrong a lot, and I want to get it wrong out loud, and I want help being honest, and I want to help other people be honest because I care about what's true, and I want to help other people who care about what's true. And so those are four important things, but of those four important things, how on earth do I intend to do these things? Well, it's a process, so I don't intend to do them all in the space of this vlog, thankfully, because you would be here for my lifetime, and I'm probably going to live a little while longer, so that's going to be a while, and you probably don't have that much time, and your attention span is pretty short, so I'm going to get back to the point, given those facts. So I'm going to use photography and some other creative mediums. So, like, my primary tool is this. The tool is less important than the process and the result of the soul expression, the soul selfie, sifting for soul. You get the soul theme. The tool isn't the important part of that. It's not like canon for soul. So you can use whatever tool you want, but it's useful for me to explain the process of how and why I set up a shot, like what catches my eye, why am I shooting it, what settings am I using, and why am I using those settings, what feeling am I trying to capture and then convey. Now, I don't want to give it completely, like I don't want to tell everything. Like I'm hoping some people will just look and be like, oh, this image makes me feel something. And the story that I reference for this is I once heard an interviewer talking about the musician Seal, and Seal stopped printing lyrics or didn't want lyrics printed in the covers of his CDs back in the days where they made CDs, for the people who can remember that. Seal didn't want lyrics printed in his CDs, and they're asking him why. People really like it, and they know what you're saying, and they know what you mean. And he said, well, it's not important. I'm paraphrasing. This is from memory, so this was the gist of it. He said, it's not important what I mean. It's important what the song and the lyrics mean to the person. And so when you print the lyrics, often it changes for the person, and it's at conflict with what they thought you were saying and what it meant to them. And what it means to me, once I put it out there, is less important than what it means to other people. And I thought that was a beautiful sentiment. And so I don't want to tell people and to only have people see what I see. I expect and I hope that people will see other things, but mostly the thing that I want people to see is that photography can be intimidating, but like once you figure out which buttons to click on the tool, it's way less intimidating, and it's a really effective way to capture beauty and to capture sadness and to capture life. And it's important to capture those things. And so developing those skills helps us develop our perspective and our ability to change that perspective. And that's the thing that's key. But it's useful to give it some constraints for people who are really only interested in the tools and the techniques. I'll tell you what my gear is. I'll tell you how I edit. I'll show you how I edit. Editing is important. It helps you fine-tune the image. I'm a big fan of editing almost everything because the camera doesn't get it right. And so the myth of editing is like cheating for the people who believe that. It can be if you go sort of carried away. But editing is really sort of shaping what your mind sees and cleaning up the details that for whatever reason the camera didn't get right. And the camera doesn't get everything right. In the same way, you're not a credible eyewitness, the camera's not a credible eyewitness. And so like it's useful to understand that and clean that up. So I will cover all those things, but mostly I will express myself and I will have some fun. And I'm grateful that you're joining me, and I hope you continue to join me. I'm ultimately going to try to be whatever kind of human I am, whatever kind of human I'm going to evolve to. I'm going to make this a part of that process, and I hope to inspire other people to figure out how to accelerate their own process. So, thank you, and let's get it. You were probably hoping that I would just sit here statically and talk to you the entire time and tell you my opinions and continue to wax on poetic and bloviate ad nauseum about my philosophies on life. No such luck. I'm going to try to release 2 videos a week. The first video is going to be a TAF video. I'm trying to coin the acronym TAF, which stands for Thoughts and Effing Feelings. And I call it that because thoughts and feelings are difficult to discuss. Sometimes they can feel painful, and so the effing in there really accentuates some of that pain, for lack of a better way to describe it. So the first video is going to be a TAF video, and then the second video is going to be something about photography that is useful to help me with perspective on that TAF. And also some photographic techniques that you might find useful in general if you're just really into photography. This way, if you're interested in my thoughts and feelings, if you're interested in some of the ways I use photography to get past my struggle, it's useful to understand the struggle. If you're not interested in that, you can just skip it and then move ahead to the actual photography component. I'll release more than 2, but at minimum 2, with those 2 categories loosely defined. So hopefully that works for you, and you'll come back and check it out, and you'll leave me some comments. If you have suggestions about things you want me to discuss,
things you want to see in photography, or anything in general, put them in the comments. Please keep it decent and positive, because otherwise you're sort of missing the point of all this. But that's okay. You be you, and I'll adjust accordingly. And yeah, let's see what we can do together.